Member of the family. Great to have you, and how are you?
I'm doing fine, Carl. Thanks.
So I could have brought out the hammer on Westbrook this morning.
I thought you were.
But I did not. And I believe it is very hard in life. You're a 45-year-old executive, and all of a sudden 10 years ago, tech takes over the world. And your son now, he's 15, he's on tech all day. He's on Fortnite all day. But a 48-year-old executive, hey, be great at tech. I didn't grow up with tech. And so it's hard to pivot. Westbrook, the game now is not designed for him. It's designed for Clay, Steph, Kyrie, Lillard. Shoot. No mid-range. I don't care. And I look at Westbrook, and he's not a broken player. He's a hyper-athletic guard who is a relentless athlete. You're going to tell me the next 5 years he's going to click and become a great shooter? It's not who he is. Derrick Rose, that's not who Derrick Rose is. There's part of me that feels bad for Westbrook. The game has moved in a different direction, and it's not built perfectly for him anymore.
You are being lenient here. I expect. I saw you tweeting last night and saying, "What would you say?"
I said, "Wait! Is he hit a triple-double yet?"
I was for sure you're gonna be relentless this morning and vicious.
Couldn't I argue though? What do you do with Westbrook now?
Okay, well, let me say this. I get your point, but I will say this. There are still, I will still say, the majority of the leagues, the majority of the point guards can't shoot like a Stephen Curry, like a Damian Lillard. So there's still a spot for players such as Westbrook, who has freakish athleticism, quick speed, burst of everything. So I would just say this: it's still up to Westbrook as key points in the game to make the right play. And if you're not such a shooter, then don't shoot a lot of threes. Go in and attack. Be relentless on the glass. And I think the problem with him is that, look, that three-point ball is killing OKC right now.
They were never good at it. They've been awful.
They're awful. And the fact that Portland is making so many, threes hurt. Threes hurt. And when you can't match that, you can't combat that, there's a real problem. And then that deficit gets higher and higher. And so I think for Westbrook, look, I get what you're saying. He's never going to be those type of guys when you're talking about Steph and Dame. But what he can do it to the best of his ability and stay away from shooting 8, 7 3-pointers a game. And so if you want to be efficient in your own right, play your own game. That's all he has to do.
Here's a criticism I would levy on Westbrook. I don't like the defensive effort. First of all, Lillard's getting uncontested jumpers. Curry is left wide open. Some of this, is it possible, and I'm not just blaming Westbrook, that when your offense goes in the NBA, your defense can suffer because it gets into your head. I mean, let's be honest. Defense matters, but it's probably a 75-25 split. Offense is more important than defense. I don't like Russell's defense. I don't like OKC's defense. You're letting a good three-point shooting team. Portland last night must have had 7 wide-open threes.
Paying attention to detail has always been an issue of Russ, particularly when you're talking about the defensive end. You look at, look at his frame and everything. There's no reason why he shouldn't be an all-NBA defender out there from year to year. But he's not. And I don't know necessarily if it's his offense struggling on that end is why he's struggling on the defensive end as well. But you seeing it. Seth Curry can't get off. He can't get wide open shots. No. You can't allow guys like Farouk Aminu to hit 3-pointers on you. Those are demoralizing shots. And so that's what I'm saying. I get your point. You're being lenient, Kyle. You're evolving as a person. Because you just mentioned that you talking about 45-year-olds can't adapt to time. You're adapting and changing and evolving because I thought I was going to defend Russ. I thought I was going to defend him. I thought you were coming with the heat today, but now I find myself, I got to pile on because of the lack of you not doing so.
Yeah, I had the anvil in the car. I left it there. I thought, it's easy today. He was minus 27, Lillard's plus 27. I could have brought out the anvil. I won the argument. This old thing about the internet, they say Facebook won the internet. Stop arguing. I won the argument. Russ is hard to play with. He's not built for the playoffs. But in the end, I've just seen this so many times. I saw it with Derrick Rose a lot. I'm like, the game's moving away from Derrick Rose's strength. It's Ezekiel Elliott, the game moved right into his wheelhouse. He can Le'Veon Bell, the game moved right into Le'Veon. Le'Veon's not the fastest back. God, he's got great hands. And so all of a sudden, Le'Veon Bell goes from, he's a good runner. He doesn't have breakaway speed to, oh, my God, you get 85 catches, 200 carries. And let's move to this, though. if Oklahoma City loses the series, and I don't think Portland's ever lost a series when they lead 2-0.
Okay.
Billy Donovan gets run, right? And I'm saying this. Okay, at some point, Sam Presti had Harden, chose Westbrook. Had Durant, didn't hug him. Victor Oladipo, let him go. At some point, Billy Donovan's taking the hits here. There's one shooter on this roster. That's not Billy Donovan's fault. Mm-hmm. Is he going to get whacked?
Look, they gave him extension before the season. You know, I was surprised that they did that.
So was I.
Because I'm like, what did he do? What has the team done to warrant that? But at the same time, when you're talking about the holes that's in this roster, you need shooting. In this game today, if you don't have premium shooting, then you don't have a chance. Because threes add up. And when they keep adding up, that margin is a 10-point margin, 15-point margin, 20-point margin. It happens faster than has ever happened in the game before.
Oklahoma City is not built to go on a 14-0 run. Portland is.
Yes.
You know, Golden State is. Boston can be. Houston can be. Utah's good, but they're not. The teams that don't shoot threes, it's hard to go on a 14-0 run. That used to be 7 possessions.
And that's why, getting to your point, I think you were alluding to it, that's a management.
That's not Billy Donovan's issue.
That's not Billy Donovan. That's the kind of the way they constructed their team is the similar route in the way the Lakers went about doing business.
Tough guys, defensive guys, not enough shooters. By the way, listen, Hainesy, I got to tell you, give me 30 seconds on camera here. Tonight's one of the greatest nights in America. Mm-hmm. You're not going to understand this. You're going to think I'm a weirdo. Tonight, the NFL releases its schedule.
Oh, so fun.
I'm so glad my wife's under the weather. I don't have to entertain anybody. I can go home.
That's mean.
No, I love her to death. Just get upstairs. I got to watch this. I got to see who the Jaguars play. Tonight is the best night for nerds in America. I'm going to be sitting there all night just taking notes.
You get to play win-loss. It's the best.
It's the best night. All right, let's move to Chris Haynes. NBA guys are like, I don't get it. It's just a schedule.
You lost me there, Colin.
Okay. I was told last night from a source I really trust, Monty Williams' interview with the Lakers, he is their number one choice. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean he'll get the job because Monty's probably going to get the Sixers gig if they lose to Brooklyn or the Raptors. Mm-hmm. So let me just start with this. That means I think Ty Lue's the Lakers' second choice. I think Ty Lue's going to get it. I was told last night, Chris, the Lakers are concerned about the optics that it's now LeBron's team. Have you heard stuff like that?
I wrote that last week, actually, when Magic Johnson relieved himself. But, yeah, that was always concern. And, you know, I was told, you know, when I wrote that for Yahoo, I was told that when Magic and Pelinka were compiling potential coaching candidates, then obviously they brought up Tyronn Lue and Mark Jackson. And I was told at one point, Jeannie Buss said, you know, I'm concerned with the perception of LeBron running things. This is a Buss-ran organization. We want to make sure that is clear. And so I understand all that, but at the same time, Colin, I think it's very important, especially where the Lakers are right now. It's very important to screw optics, screw perception. Bring in the right candidate. Bring in somebody who you think is going to be able to do this job at a high level and bring this franchise back to prominence. If optics and if perception is something that's concerning you and that's going to deter you from hiring the right guy, then I think that the Lakers franchise is going to continue to be in disarray.
I want to go to the Warriors for a second because I think Golden State's going to win that series. I think the Clippers, and I said this repeatedly through the season, they're really one of the best stories in the league this year. Mm-hmm. Milwaukee's a great story. The Clippers shouldn't be here. They traded their best player in the middle of the season. In the last several years, they've traded their 4 best players, Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, Tobias Harris, and DeAndre Jordan. They shouldn't be here. Yeah. Lou Williams is their best player. I love Lou. If he's your best player, you're probably not a playoff team. They are. Their bench is the best in the league. Yeah. Doc Rivers has done a remarkable job. But I'm watching this Warriors-Clippers series, and you know what I'm seeing, Chris? I'm thinking Kawhi Leonard's looking at that team saying, man, the only thing they're missing is me. Could I make the argument that even losing this series by the Clippers, this has been an incredible advertisement as a free agent destination, that we may have reached the tipping point with the lowly Clippers. They are now seen as a viable place to go for stars.
I mean, even before the series started, you know, we all picked Golden State to advance. I actually picked Golden State to sweep them. I had some Clippers execs killing me about that prediction. But, hey, I think right now the Clippers are putting themselves in great position, not just to lure Kawhi, but have some other free agents, start looking their way. Because they're one, you can look at them, they're one piece away from going to that next level. I don't know if Kawhi puts it to that next level, a championship contending team, but definitely if you get Kawhi's signature, you're going to get other guys on board willing to come over for cheaper. And Clippers have cap space where they can get 2 max guys. So right now you look at it, great coaching. They got a great culture. They got guys who play their roles and know how to stay within themselves.
Tremendous giving culture.
No.
Nobody's seeking minutes and points.
Nope. So you bring a couple stars on board, all of a sudden the Clippers are in a place where they've never been before.
Yeah, I think we're there. I want to talk about a team that is fascinating for a lot of reasons, the Philadelphia 76ers. Mm-hmm. Now, they're not really a national story yet, but I find them to be absolutely fascinating. I think outside of the Warriors, they have the best talent in the league, slightly over Boston and Houston. You have the Monty Williams situation, Brett Brown. When I watch the Sixers play, I don't know what I'm getting night to night. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I'm getting night to night with Simmons. Jimmy Butler doesn't get along with people. If I said to you 1 year from today, what are the Sixers? First of all, do you think they beat Brooklyn? I do. I think their size is too much.
I think they do.
I think they've got a chance against Toronto, but a year from now, who is in Philly and who is not in Philly? Because this team's got 4 legitimate high-end players.
That's a good question. Obviously, they gave up a lot to acquire Tobias Harris and Jimmy Butler.
No question.
So it's hard to believe that they will let even one of those guys walk away in free agency this summer. With that being said, I think they bring back one of those guys. And if I had to pick, probably they bring back Tobias. So this time next year, I think Jimmy Butler is probably somewhere else. That's just my thoughts in my
I'm going to throw something at you. You trade Simmons. Now, it sounds crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have my big, and I have 2 pretty good shooters on the wing. Mm-hmm. You can get a ton for Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons does not, I've been told, get along great with teammates. He didn't make the Australian national team. Now, I'm not saying this because I don't like Ben Simmons. Mm-hmm. But if you look at Ben Simmons' game, I don't think it fits Embiid. I don't. And Jimmy Butler doesn't fit anybody.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing this out there. If you add Embiid, your center anchor is there. You have 2 athletes, Butler and Tobias on the wing. You need more shooters. J.J. Redick's aging. Mm-hmm. Is it impossible to think they'd make that move? I don't think Simmons fits their team.
I don't see them making that move within a year's time. Because I think you got to let the maturation process evolve. Look, this the thing. Ben wants to be a point guard. And he can't handle that position. He thrives in that position. But in that position nowadays, you need spacing at that position. He's somebody who's reluctant to shoot. And so I think it's going to get to a point that if they don't trade Ben Simmons, if he's a mainstay there, he has to obviously develop some range, but also he has to be open to moving to the small forward spot. Yeah. So then you can have a shooter at the point guard spot and shooting guard spot. So because they really, Jimmy Butler and Tobias, they're decent, but they're not. You need premium shooters.
Yeah, this Philadelphia is a really fascinating team. I don't think these pieces work. And I love 3 of the pieces I love. Embiid, Simmons, and Butler are unbelievable talents. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.